lesson 113, we're going to be adding and subtracting mixed measures. We're also going to be multiplying by 10. So sometimes I'm going to have problems where it talks about hours and minutes, two different measures. Okay. So this first example says the hike from the trailhead to the waterfall took 1 hour 50 minutes. The return trip took 1 hour 40 minutes. Altogether, how many hours, minutes long was the hike? So I have 1 hour 50 minutes. I'm going to add 1 hour 40 minutes. Okay. So I have hours, minutes. First thing I'll do is add my minutes. I get 90 minutes. Add my hours, I get 2 hours. So I have 2 hours and 90 minutes. But we can't have more than 60 minutes because 60 minutes equals 1 hour. So we need to convert some of those minutes into hours. Okay. So this 90 minutes, if I take 60 minutes out of it and change it into an hour, I'm going to get 30 minutes. Then I need to add 1 hour to the 2 hours, so I get 3 hours. So my answer is going to be it took 3 hours, 30 minutes. And so just remember, we need to take 60 minutes away to get that hour. To measure his vertical leap, Tyrone first reaches as high as he can against a wall. He reaches 6 feet 9 inches. Then he put chalk on his fingertips, jumped as high as he can, slaps the wall. The top of the chalk mark is 8 feet 7 inches. How high off the ground did Tyrone leap? So we need to take his jumping mark minus how far he reached when he was standing flat, and that will give us how high he could jump. So if I'm subtracting, remember I have to start on the right, so I'm going to start with my inches, but I can't take 7 inches minus 9 inches. I'm going to have to do some borrowing. Okay? So obviously I need to borrow from the feet, so that 8 is going to become a 7. Now when I borrow feet, remember it's not 10 inches in a foot, it's 12 inches in a foot. So what I need to do is take the 7 plus 12, because I brought 12 inches over here. So when I add 7 plus 12, I get 19. Now I can subtract. And you can see that I jumped 1 feet 10 inches. So when we're borrowing, if we were borrowing time, we'd be borrowing 60 minutes. If we're borrowing inches, we have to go from feet to inches. Remember, we're adding 12 to what our inches already are. And now, we talked about powers of 10 already. Now we're just going to be multiplying by powers of 10. So here it says to write 6.2 times 10 squared in standard notation. Well, first of all, I'm going to start with 10 squared, and that's 100. Okay. Remember, when I multiply by 100, I move my decimal to the right, however many zeros I have. So 1, 2. So, therefore, 6.2 times 10 squared is 620. Okay. If I wanted to, I could just take that squared, and that tells me how many places to move the decimal point. So rather than finding that is 100. Okay. Now, the next question says, write 1/2 billion in standard notation. Okay. So if I have 1/2, that's 0.5, times 1 billion, so there's 1,000, million, billion. Okay. So if I'm multiplying, notice I can count how many zeros I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And just move my decimal point 9 places to the right because I'm multiplying. If I have my 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should get with 8 zeros. So I should get 500 million. So if we think about, if we wanted to write it with powers of 10, we could have just wrote 5 times 10, and there's how many zeros? 8. So we get 5 times 10 to the 8th power. Okay. Go ahead, do the practice set, make sure you bring any questions you may have to class.